Very good morning. How you doing?
Well, good morning, Keith Jones. I'm great, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, let's do a podcast called We Have Each Other. So
Okay.
you want to kick it off?
Sure. So, I guess what was both important for us to talk about this morning before we went on air was the idea of um, just how soothing and reinforcing and important it is to have a great group of people who are non-judging around you. And we were talking in particular about the guys that we're tight with, which started out basically as a workout group, but thanks to you and journaling about emotional things and journaling about food intake and journaling about RT and keeping a record of what our daily moments were consumed with, we developed a way of looking at life that was very different and very much focused on self-analysis. And that was your origination, that was your idea. But that kind of practice began to make a difference for me in the way that I started to look at all of life. So what I wanted to say this morning was that, man, isn't it great to have a group of men where, you're in your 50s, I'm in my 70s, and we have families and lovers and careers and all sorts of busyness going on. But here we are, like we're in a fraternity, like in our 20s, and it's not superficial like a fraternity is, like drinking beer and ogling women. It's more about a deep bond and a deep understanding of how we failed and how we've succeeded, how we've been emotionally exhausted and worried and anxious and fearful and come through it all. And partly it's due to the ability to feel that you're loved, protected, honored, regardless of what kind of fool you make of yourself. I was just thinking today, we ought to do a podcast on how many ways I have proven to be foolish this past week. Except that's pretty much what everybody does, I suppose, at the end of the day. So it wouldn't be that enlightening. But anyway, what are your thoughts, Keith?
Rick, I feel the exact same way that I am just filled with incredible gratitude about what we have, with our friends. And we're all like on a very similar path in that how we have worked on ourselves and continue to work on ourselves to be, our best. And from the way that we eat, the way that we are committed to exercise and healthy behaviors to sustain our physical health, to go beyond just a long lifespan, but to have a health span, which is a quality of life over your lifespan. And how from the very beginning, man, we set this tone to be vulnerable with each other. And you sent out a video with Patrick Stewart, in which he was expressing a little bit of regret that with his kids and the people that were closest to him, that he wasn't open and vulnerable with them, that he wasn't loving. And now he's in his later years, and now he's surrounded himself and with a group of people in which he expresses himself without reservation about how he feels about them every time that he's with them. And that's something that we've been doing for years, every time. I mean, people listen to the podcast, we're saying, I love you. Brian and Pete and Matt, I mean, we're saying, I love you to each other freely all the time. David is the same way. Tim, I mean, this is what we do, right? And we mean it. And it's unconditional. We can have plans with each other, and we're looking forward to it. And we're not looking forward in the way that, it's a break from what our current life is. And so we're going on a trip. We look forward to, like, man, this next experience is going to be great. I know that it's going to be enriching. We look at it that way. But if something happens to one of us can't make it, there have been countless occasions in which you've invited me up to Sedona, and I was unable to come. And there have been times where you had looked forward to coming in and communing here, and you weren't able to come. At no time is anyone upset, resentful, hold it against the other person. It is unconditional, like, hey, no worries, completely understand. I mean, we have this unconditional love, and it is rooted in vulnerability. It is made possible because of our commitment to working on ourselves, and in doing so, we elevate our collective, friendship and bond. We elevate that, and it's just beautiful. And I was thinking, like, for some people, people saying "I love you" is uncomfortable. Like, you don't know me, I don't know you, and I found that it can be uncomfortable for guys. So when I tell a guy who, that is a friend and we have a relationship, hey man, I love you, uh, like it's unsettling for them, and I'm like, that's cool. I still love you, you don't, I don't need you to say it back, and I'm going to keep saying it, and because I do. And last night, I was having a conversation with a person that I work with at Mayo Clinic, who I've become very close with. I mean, we are really open and vulnerable with each other. And you met him. I introduced you to John. He is, a huge fan of the podcast. But John has helped me in so many ways, Rick. I mean, so many ways. I mean, if we just talk professional, he is a full professor, one of the leading cardiac thoracic surgeons in the world, and innovative, patient-centered, just an incredible leader. And I don't have academic research chops. And John has sat with me for hours, helping me improve in this area of my professional career. I mean, hours, Rick, and continues to do so and create opportunities for me. These are just one of the small things he's done, as well as give me guidance and advice. And we've been there for each other through some challenges. And last night we were on the phone. Last night we were probably on the phone for an hour, and we were talking about things that are going on in our lives. And at the end of the call, we're about to hang up, and John says, "I love you." John had never said that before, and John said, "I love you," and I was like, "Man, I love you too, John." It was unexpected, and I just encourage everyone, regardless of your gender identity, uh, to express yourself fully. And if you aren't doing it, I'm not saying there's something wrong, but there's something wrong, because you want to be a person that's filled with so much love that you just want to share it, And when you invite somebody into your life, whether it's a friend or a significant other in your life, it's not because you need them, that you're incomplete. You're inviting them in your life because you just got so much love to share, And that's what we do, man. We work on ourselves in such a way to where we just keep sharing love with each other, man. Just keep sharing love with each other. And it's something to be said for when people are suffering, or they are at a point in their lives or in their journey to where they are faced with something that seems daunting, and you have someone that you can talk to about it. You're not asking them for help. It's just a safe space to be a human being. And something about that, it lifts you. And there have been times in our life, Rick, that you and I have done that for each other over and over and over again. Man, it is beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Keith. That's quite a mouthful. It's especially great to hear that you and John had a great a great sense of identity together and were supportive of one another. The thing I think that's most important about all of this is the idea that Wayne Dyer used to say, if you squeeze an orange, what do you get out of it? And obviously the answer is orange juice. Well, if it's like that with a human being, when you're at the top of your game and you feel supported and you feel understood and you feel inside of yourself peaceful and calm, and you're strong physically and you have a great mental outlook, and you're in nature and you're absorbing the energy that comes from the earth, and you're enjoying being part of something bigger than yourself. You've got all that stuff going for you. What's inside of you is love. What's inside of you is the desire to have other people feel what you're feeling. And so for folks who aren't in that capacity yet, or don't have that capacity yet, or don't feel it yet, I think the point is to just practice. Just practice trying to fake it, trying to pretend like you're there. And in a sense, when you develop that a chance of being open and chance of being vulnerable and you're reinforced for it. Nobody takes advantage of it. When that happens for you, then I think it's easy to start feeling that this is the way life should be, that this is the normal, not the cynical, pessimistic, judging, sort of hateful thing that we all can revert to pretty easily, me in particular. Anyway, I love the podcast, and
Me too, Rick.
I love the topic, man. I just could listen to you talk all day, buddy. You are
Likewise.
sprinkling joy all over the place. I love that, man. That's
Thanks,
so
Rick. I
cool.
appreciate that. Thank you. I love you, Rick.
I love you, Keith. Adios.
Adios.